A girl named Becky, along with her husband Dan and her friend Hunter, are fans of extreme sports. During another rock climb, Dan makes a mistake and dies. A year after the death of her husband, Becky falls into depression and stops keeping in touch with her loved ones. The evenings go by faster, memories of her husband becoming rarer in her attempts to reach the bottom of the glass. On one such evening, Becky, on her way out of a bar, meets her father. He tries to explain to his daughter that killing herself endlessly is not the answer. If the situation was the opposite, it is unlikely that Dan would suffer so much because of her. Day after day, the girl continues to listen to Dan's answering machine. After a while, however, the number becomes inactive. Realizing that she will never hear her husband's voice again, Becky decides to take the easiest route. But suddenly a phone call rings. Hunter tells her that Becky looks really fucked up and it's time to get back to normal. She tells her that she has something to offer her. Becky won't like it, but Hunter recommends that she not turn it down right away. There is a very tall abandoned B-67 tower about 6 hours from where they are now. Hunter intends to climb it and offers Becky to keep her company. This tower would be the perfect place to scatter Dan's ashes. Becky, of course, refuses, but the next day she says yes. Becky's friend is delighted that she has made the right decision, and together the girls set off to climb the tower. On the way to the planned place, the girls stop at a roadside hotel. At dinner, Hunter tells that he keeps a video blog in which he likes to do different extreme things. Becky says that it's easier for Hunter to be who she is. She's cool. She just needs to be herself to get her audience's attention. A little later, after learning that charging phones at the place is chargeable, Hunter shows a little life hack: how you can charge any device by unscrewing the light bulb of a light fixture. Upon reaching the place, the girls take with them only a 15-meter rope, a selfie stick, a quadrocopter, and a couple of bottles of water. The plan is quite simple. It takes 2 to 3 hours, not more. Climb the tower, take some selfies, and scatter Dan's ashes. After all that's happened, Becky is clearly worried after a year of drinking and lack of training. However, with shaky hands, she starts climbing the rusty ladder following Hunter. The higher they climb, the less secure the metal structure becomes. With each meter, the strength of the wind increases and the vibrations of the rusty ladder increase. At about 300 meters of altitude, one of the rungs of the ladder breaks, and the girls decide to take a short break. Becky starts to worry that she won't succeed, that she agreed to do it for nothing. But Hunter, in his usual manner, calms his friend. After drinking water and resting a bit, the girls continue their ascent. Having finished climbing the inner staircase and having reached the 500 meters mark, the two extreme lovers move to the even more flimsy outer staircase to climb to the top, to the observation deck. This staircase looks even more ruined, and to all appearances, it is held on a good word of honor. As she climbs meter by meter, Becky's fear gets the better of her, and she asks Hunter to come down. However, her friend says that if she lets her go down, it means that fear will overcome her, which she clearly does not intend to let happen. After they overcome the obstacles in the form of communication plates, Hunter decides to give adrenaline to the already scared shitless Becky. After finally reaching the top, the girls take some extreme selfies, shoot a video on an ATV, tearfully remember Dan, and scatter his ashes. Becky has finally gotten over her fear and is ready to move on with her life. Afterward, she offers to start the rappel down. Just as Becky begins to climb down the ladder, the rusty structure gives a slack, and what was about to happen happens. The ladder collapses. But luckily, the safety rope allows Hunter to hold on to Becky and save her from falling into the abyss. Hunter then manages to pull Becky back to the top of the tower. The girls are shocked by what happened, but are happy that they were able to handle the situation. Hunter says it's a shame they didn't get to capture such an epic moment on camera. At that very second, they realize that the only way they could have gotten downstairs was down the stairs. Becky starts to panic, realizing that the situation is extremely fucked up. They are in the middle of the desert on an abandoned tower. Phones are out of service. They have no food, and all their water is left in their backpack that fell on a satellite dish. On top of all that, Becky didn't even notice she had gotten a deep cut. Hunter tries to stay positive and assures them that the rumble of that ladder falling down must be audible throughout the neighborhood, and right now someone is probably calling emergency services. The girls begin to suspect 5 hours later that no one is coming to their rescue. Hunter recalls that her phone was definitely picking up a signal down below because she saw likes on Instagram. However, she can't know for sure at exactly what altitude the connection was lost. Hoping that the connection was lost very close to the summit, Hunter ties her phone to a rope and lowers it down to catch a signal. However, this yields no results. Becky suggests that they prepare a message to be sent as soon as there is a connection. They then put the phone in their sneakers, cover it with a push-up and drop it down. They don't know if they managed to send the message or if the phone crashed after all, but all they have to do now is just wait and hope that everything worked out. A little later, Becky notices a tattoo on Hunter's leg. At that moment, she sees a man with a dog through her binoculars. The girls start screaming as hard as they can. However, the distance of 600 meters makes themselves known. They simply can't be heard. Becky begins to take off and throw sneakers, and at some point the man pays attention to his dog, which clearly noticed the shoes flying from above. However, he doesn't pay it any mind and heads off. Becky decides to fire the flare gun they found in the crate, but Hunter stops her. She notices that there are vans parked a little farther away. Someone is there. The shot is best left until dark, so the flare gun will be definitely visible. While waiting for dark, Becky revisits the videos of her and her husband and sees her friend looking enviously at their couple. At that moment, Hunter says the guys near the van are getting ready to leave and asks Bex to launch a rocket. The two men notice the flare shot, as well as the flashlight light from their phone, and start moving towards them, realizing that the girls are trapped upstairs. However, Hunter sees how the guys aren't in a hurry to rescue them at all. They've just decided to steal the car the girlfriends came in. Bex sees the tattoo on Hunter's leg again and tells her the story that her husband Dan never said, "I love you." He always used the code 143, the code that is embossed on her friend's leg. This is when Hunter confesses that she slept with her husband. Their relationship lasted about 4 months. The friend apologizes to Becky and tells her that Dan was the initiator of what happened between them. Hunter ended her relationship with him after a while, and after Dan died, she was never able to be a reliable support for Becky and help her through the tragedy because she felt guilty about it. Becky says it's been 24 hours since they dumped the phone, and there's only one conclusion here. Either the 60,000 subscribers don't care about Hunter, or the message never got through. Hunter says that maybe she'll be able to retrieve the backpack that got caught on the plate. By doing so, they'll have water and, most importantly, a quadrocopter. They'll be able to write a message and send it to the hotel where they had dinner. Becky warns that this is a bad idea, however, as her friend assures her they have no choice. Gathering all the will in a fist, the girl starts to descend. As a result, Hunter is literally a couple of meters short of being able to grab the backpack freely. The girl decides to unhook herself from the rope to get even lower, and then, with a good swing, she jumps right onto the plate. She gets her backpack out, but now the problem is how to get back in. Using a selfie stick, she hooks the backpack onto a loop of rope and then just jumps onto it, risking the risk of just flying down. Hunter yells to Becky that it's now a team effort. She's going to climb up the rope, and Bex has to pull on the rope as hard as she can. And so, almost reaching the top, Hunter falls off the rope and falls. After that, Becky is afraid to look down for a long time, realizing that her friend is gone. But luckily, Hunter is alive. She managed to grab the backpack, but hurt her hands badly. And now it's up to Becky whether she can get out or not. Eventually, gathering all her strength, Becky pulls her friend out and saves her from death. After taking a couple sips of water, Bex writes a message for help on paper, attaches it to the quadcopter, and sends it towards the motel. But suddenly it turns out that the quadcopter's battery is almost dead, and the girls have to bring it back in an emergency. After sitting up until the night and thinking about the hopelessness of the situation, Becky notices a warning light. She recalls how Hunter at the motel was able to charge her phone by simply leaning the charger against the lamp's batteries. She's sure this trick should work and charge the quadcopter. Then they will have a real chance of rescue. All they have to do is just climb another 9 meters or so. As dawn breaks, Becky begins the ascent. When she reaches the signal lamp, she tries to plug in the charger. However, the plug contacts won't reach. Bex puts a gold ring inside. Voila! Charging is in full swing. In this position, Becky needs to hang on as long as possible to charge the copter to the max. Becky's desire to survive was so strong that even the damn parrot couldn't stop her. Having coped with the task on a hurrah, the girl goes downstairs and proceeds to send the copter to the motel. It remains to fly a dozen meters, and of course, Becky begins to scream hysterically, realizing that the last chance for rescue was lost. Surviving even this night will be nearly impossible, let alone further waiting to be rescued. Becky makes the decision to throw her phone away in hopes that the message will still be sent and the phone won't be broken. She asks Hunter for her sneakers, but suddenly her friend says her shoes aren't here. Becky doesn't realize what's going on, and then Hunter says she's already dead. As Becky was pulling her friend out, Hunter snapped and fell onto a satellite dish. Becky was just afraid to admit she was alone, so she imagined Hunter would be okay. Now, however, she has to face the truth. The next day, Becky sits motionless while a vulture pecks at her thigh wound. Suddenly, she grabs the parrot by the head, kills it, and then eats it to replenish her strength. After a healthy helping of fast food, Becky rappels down the rope to Hunter's body and then dials a message on her phone for her father, writing that she's stuck on the tower and needs help immediately. She then shoves the phone first into her sneaker and then into Hunter's body and drops it down. In the evening, Becky's father gets the message, notifies all services, and rushes to the tower, near which a bunch of rescue vehicles have already gathered. At first, Becky's father can't find his daughter, and after seeing the rescuers wrapping the body in a body bag, he realizes that he's probably too late. However, in the last moment of the movie, he hears Becky calling for him from the ambulance. You have been on the Recap Roman channel. Subscribe and give it a like. See you soon.